Okay, I think it's all working. I think everything is here to do the dishes. I got my energy just right. I slept for like 12 hours last night, and I was sort of awake for a lot of it, and I didn't really lose my association, I'll call it, the opposite of dissociation, my trust, my feelings. Now, Richard's outside right now. I kept having to worry that maybe he'd be behind me attacking me. But I sort of wondered, maybe Richard has been attacking because we have spiritual problems. And Richard is very strict. And if you have spiritual problems, he's going to be mad at you for that. It's his way of saying, you better shape up. And the reason I think that, I've thought that before, but I especially thought it today. And I don't know where the damn dish soap is. Because once I was feeling more present, he hasn't attacked me yet. And I was kind of wondering if that would happen. And then we had this kind of episode on the couch. He was laying with his face right up next to my face on the couch. He was sort of asserting dominance over me. He was saying, look, I got my claw right in your neck. What are you going to do? Are you going to trust me? Because if you're scared of me, I'm going to claw you. But if you're not scared of me and you trust me, I'll let you lay here. He was sort of having one of those kind of moments. And I thought, yes, there was this story I heard. I was reminded of this king and their rich friends would watch people get executed by a mad elephant. They'd, but then one time, there was a Buddha getting executed, so they send the mad elephant in to watch this person get killed. But the elephant bows down at the Buddha's feet because the elephant realizes some truth or something in the Buddha. Well, I found some soap. I got some new batteries going on. And so I used to think Richard will attack you if you're messed up. I mean, I used to get pretty high, too high, and I would be dissociated, I think, pretty sure. I'd be talking to myself while I was high. I could pretty much think that's dissociation. And when I would do that, Richard would attack my feet at those times specifically. And that was while he was an outdoor cat. And so I always linked it up that if you get a little bit too far ahead of yourself, Richard's going to be there with his hammer to set you right. And so I felt him testing me a lot on our love session this morning. And I passed his tests, and then when I was in the kitchen, he walked right by me. He walked right up to my foot, and he stood right beside it so that there was nothing I could do if he wanted to. And then I just kept trusting him, and then he just walked away. Then he walked towards Stu, and he was walking towards Stu kind of like he was stalking him, but I've also seen him walk towards Stu and groom him. And I don't think Todd is a human trafficker. When he grooms Stu, I don't think it's for the purpose of exploiting him. I think Todd is just simply feeling friendship with Stu. And even when Todd is going up to do something like that, which might be a spiritual test for Stu, because Todd is enlightened, but Stu isn't. So Todd could be going over to Stu to test him, and if Todd goes over with neutral energy and Stu reacts bad, then Todd will say, okay, you get what you want. That's your karma. So today when Todd was walking towards Stu, I was trying to keep an eye on what was happening, but then Stu went behind the couch or somewhere and I couldn't tell where he went. So I'm just washing all my dishes for my butter chicken right now. I don't know if I should turn on the light. It's kind of dark out. I slept really well last night. I slept from like 4 p.m. until like 4 in the morning. And it was a really good sleep. I also didn't eat anything yesterday, except I had some of that butter chicken again with some naan bread. Oh, it was so good. Maybe not quite as good as restaurant butter chicken, but I don't know, it was pretty good. I could barely remember what restaurant butter chicken tastes like. I was thinking more about loosh harvesters and how people harvest loosh because they don't have the ability to keep any loosh for themselves, so they're always running on empty. And so they want to harvest your loosh to burn it up, but they always need more, so it's like a never-ending cycle of events. And I was thinking about people who can carry loosh, people who know how to keep their loosh, who are not running empty, and they still harvest other people's loosh. What a religious person would call knowing God exists and still working for the devil, and deceiving all the people who don't know that God exists and who don't know that devil exists. Or in my terms, there are people who feel good and do bad things. And that seems mighty unfair. But I have a feeling that if you harvest other people's loosh, when meanwhile you have your own supply of loosh, and you're harvesting just for the sake of destroying other people's loosh, so that you can preserve your material comforts, chances are, if that's you, you've been born with loosh. You're one of the few who are born with loosh, and you've never had to find your loosh. And because of that, if you ever lose your loosh, you won't be able to re-find it, probably, because you've never had to find it to begin with, and it's something that you've always had and you've always taken for granted. And then once you lose it, it might take you like 20 years to get it back. And because you went so far back, because you've regressed like 20 years in an instant, the journey back will seem too unbearable. So if you're evil, but you have loosh, and you turn against your humanity, then you could be very dangerous until you lose your loosh, and then you won't get it back. And maybe you could go your whole life without losing it. Maybe if you're evil, there'll be more pitfalls for you where you would lose it. Like, I was thinking of an example, like, I've heard that if you deceive people, you'll be deceived by them, or something to that effect, like you're deceived by your own deception, or you'll fall victim of your own trap or something. And if you're constantly ruining people's loosh, then you're kind of going to be disrespecting loosh, and it's the same loosh that you're disrespecting in them that you have in you. And because you're disrespecting their loosh, then you'll be deceived into thinking that it's not even valuable, or that it's not intrinsic to who you are. Like, it doesn't matter anyway. I'm just rationalizing because I could just take their loosh because it doesn't weigh anything. You can't point to it on a map. So I'm just taking something invisible. It doesn't really exist anyway. Some kind of rationalization like that, maybe. And people give up their loosh so easily. Maybe someone who's doing evil things will take for granted their own loosh somehow. Or they'll have more animosity from people. And there'll be more, their own loosh will be attacked. Like, I think the way it works, if you have loosh and you harvest other people, you don't get targeted by the loosh harvesters. But frankly, I don't know whether you can go your whole life and just go forever and ever with no loosh while doing evil things. I would have to think on a very roundabout way, no. Because if you keep doing that, you'll destroy the whole world, including the world you live in. So maybe you'll keep your loosh, but your body will be gone. You create some kind of nuclear third world war. Maybe a few lifetimes you can do it. Maybe a few hundred lifetimes. I don't know. Maybe we only have one lifetime. I don't know. But doesn't matter. I mean, would you really be mad if you have loosh? Would you really be thinking, oh man, I wish I could do evil things too and keep my loosh? Like, would you even, like, is that even a thought that would cross your mind? And if that's not your thought, then why would you be distinctly mad that people with loosh could do evil things? And I think there's also master harvesters who don't know how to keep their own loosh, but they know how to store the loosh from other people, and they know how to store vast quantities of it. Kind of like the Great Gatsby. I think he was a master loosh collector. He's like, no, it's just all my memory. I can get back there. And he's coveting some kind of really valuable stolen loosh. You know, you could chant the name of your personal savior. Gives you infinite access to stored, harvested loosh, but you're still always running empty on it too. You're still always not letting it be an intrinsic part of you, but you're generating it instead through some hodgepodge scheme. You're always busy. You can never relax. You never get enough dose of loosh. So I kept my sleep fucking amazing. I slept like fucking really, really well. And it's already 10 in the morning. I haven't eaten anything. I feel like not eating. It's been over 24 hours since I've eaten. I had just an awesome time yesterday. Just laying with my eyes closed. It was super intense. I had some fearful moments when I was breathing. I felt an excessive amount of energy, and to allow that was different at first. It was like, oh, I've really been holding back from that. I was trying not to do that, but that was actually the thing I was supposed to do. I was actually scared of that. I was closed off from that. I didn't feel like I was scared of it, but I was certainly moving opposite to it. Alexa, stop. Come on, Stu. Do you want to come in? Come on, Richard. Hmm. I think when you lose loose, you have a tendency to blame it on certain things. I think when you gain loose, too, the same thing happens. I think that may be might be part of why it's so difficult for people who are born with loosh to get it back if they lose it. Because they think it's intrinsic. So they think there's nothing they can do to get it back. That it came to them beyond their control and it also left them beyond their control. But that's a half-truth because it is intrinsic, it is part of you, and you don't have to do anything for it other than to be aware of it. And awareness isn't really a verb. It's something that's part of you. So Richard is just putting his head into Stu. He's not really attacking him. Now Stu's attacking Richard. Okay, now Richard just attacks Stu back. So I have a feeling that Stu is maybe showing signs of dominance, like when Stu pees around in the house. Richard doesn't like that. And Richard is saying, I'll show you who's dominant. But your loosh is intrinsically part of you. And to chase after your loosh takes away from your energy to be aware of your loosh. And so the people who are born with loosh and then lose it, probably by being bad people, the way that probably happens is through their badness, they believe one of their own lies. Because whenever you're bad to people, violent, mean, there's always some sort of deception that you have to use. Because your enemy can't really hurt you, because for your enemy you're already prepared and you're already defensive. And so your loved one can hurt you though, because you don't have any defenses up. And so the people who do harm to you, they don't come as the enemy, they come as the friend. They come in disguise. The way their violence works is by deception. And at some point they could get deceived. And that obsession with their deception can distract them from their loosh. And then their deception is the opposite direction as their loosh, and they face their deception and they go more into their deception. Because how they feel without loosh is very scared. And out of fear, they run towards, away from wherever they are. But they don't know which direction they're running. They're just running towards the same problem that they're already in. But they think as long as they run, that's at least going to distract them. Well, maybe I'll do some more of these dishes. So Todd might still have loosh, and he might not actually be a bad guy. I don't know. Stu might be a bad cat. But stew is forgivably bad at worst. Now, I don't feel like eating, but if I had more of this buttered chicken, I think I would make more of that. And I don't feel like going out. So I think that's the end of this video. And I enjoyed to make it. And goodbye.